welcome to Soulsome Foodie. Today I am super excited to share with you this easy, low-carb chicken and waffles. I love a good recipe that I can get done quickly without having to compromise flavor or quality. What if I told you can have this meal on your table in less than 30 minutes? Don't believe me? Just watch. For the chicken breading, I am going to use this almond flour here. Also, I'm going to be using some grated parmesan cheese. Make sure that it's fresh. And lastly, I'm going to be using these pork rind crumbs. Now, if you don't have them in a container like this, you can always buy a bag of them and crush them down yourselves, but you don't need a lot, super low carb, and makes a really good coating for the chicken. Here I am just mixing those three ingredients together. I'm gonna get all of the clumps out, making sure everything is nice and fine and smooth, mixing everything together to get that breading just right. Here I have some boneless, skinless chicken thighs that I have marinated, and I have cut them down into strips. And so most recipes for chicken like this will call for having like an egg dip before you dip it into the coating, but I decided to skip that step. I find that well-marinated chicken is all you need. The egg dip kind of makes things messy and just more complicated than it needs to be. So just take your marinated chicken, dip it right into the coating, make sure it's coated really well. You see me pressing it down, flipping it on both sides, just to make sure you get everything well covered. I'm gonna go ahead with the rest of these strips and make sure everything is coated very nicely. Alright, all done with that. Now I'm going to take a really shallow pan and place just enough oil to cover the tenders halfway. So you don't want too much oil where the tenders are going to be totally submerged in it, just enough to cover them halfway. Bring it up to temperature nice and hot. Then I'm going to go ahead and add all of the tenders in for a few minutes before I flip it over. Here's how the chicken is looking after a few minutes, and I'm going to go ahead and flip it over. You see that the first side has gotten a really nice golden color. Looks really, really good. I'm going to go ahead and flip all of these and let it do its thing for a few more minutes. Here's a close-up of how great the first side is looking. Yours should look something like this. Oh yeah, don't forget to subscribe if you like what you see so far. So here's how it's looking. I'm gonna give this one more flip actually, and then I'm gonna take it out. And when you take out your chicken, just make sure you're putting it on a cloth that can soak up the extra oil. I like to use a paper towel. That works perfectly. These don't absorb a ton of oil, but you want to take out as much oil as you can. So after I take these off, I'm going to go ahead and put them on top of a paper towel, on top of a plate. Now that the chicken is all done, let's talk about these waffles. So here is the brand that I like to use for low carb waffles. It's really good, and I just doctor it up with a few extra ingredients. So I use cinnamon, nutmeg. It calls for a little bit of olive oil, 1 egg. This is light cream, and then I also like to put in a little vanilla extract. And here is my mini waffle iron. As you can see, it's the size of the palm of my hand. It works really great. It makes great waffles, and just wanted to share with you all what I use. So to make the waffles, you're gonna go ahead and add all of the wet ingredients first. Mix that up. And then I'm gonna add the waffle mixture. You can use any waffle mixture that you like, by the way. If you have a recipe for waffles, anything will be just fine. I'm just gonna show you what I do. I'm gonna add my spices next. Mix that up and go ahead and put it on the waffle maker. I'm making 2 waffles. So here I am just adding the spices into this final mix of the waffle batter. And you can see here what kind of texture we're aiming for. Hopefully you can get a good look at that. With this waffle iron, you just want to make sure that you go ahead and spray each side with some cooking spray before you get your waffles started. That way it will help them to come out really easily when they're done. As you can see, it makes a really great golden brown waffle, super soft and fluffy and so delicious. All right, y'all, so here we are at my favorite part, the grand finale. We are going to plate this delicious meal. So I have my 2 waffles there at the base of the plate, and now I'm just gonna stack on some of these coated chicken tenders. They are so juicy and so delicious, y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and also put on some air fried bacon that I prepared, as well as some chopped up scallions and parsley. Just giving you all somewhat of a 360 right here to see that. I also like to use this syrup that is also 0 carb. This is the one I love to use. It's sugar-free, made with some great ingredients. I'm gonna go ahead and put a little bit of that on top, y'all. Doesn't this look so good? And yes, it was done in under 30 minutes. Here I am showing you how juicy and delicious these tenders are. So, so good. That was about maybe 7 minutes for the waffles, maybe 15 minutes for the chicken, a little bit of plating, under 30 minutes, here we are. As always, please like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.